Hello, everybody. It's Max McAllister from Traxxion Dynamics here today. I'm going to address a very, very common question I get, and that is, should I replace my air filter in my 2018 Plus Honda Goldwing at the recommended every 16,000 mile interval as prescribed by Honda? So I can tell you right up front that I'm not a proponent of following that regimen, and we're gonna see if we can put some sort of crude test to this today and figure out what might be a reasonable interval to change it. One of the reasons I'm against changing the air filter every 16,000 miles is just due to the nature of the amount of disassembly that's required for the motorcycle. So, disassembling the motorcycle to the point that you can actually get the air filter out of the air box on this motorcycle it just isn't good for the motorcycle, to be honest. And particularly if you're a DIYer, I mean, even for a professional, the most highly trained professional, taking a motorcycle apart that extensively every 16,000 miles is just not good for it. So over the life of it, if you were to own your Goldwing for 100,000 miles, you'd be changing the air filter 6 or 7 times, and it just isn't, it seems intrusive to the motorcycle. So I've accumulated a little bit of stuff here. You can take a look. These are some air filters of varying mileages. One I just have a photograph of. So one of these air filters has 16,000 miles on it, the prescribed Honda interval to change the air filter. One of them has just over 50,000 miles on it, and the other one has 76,000 miles on it. So which, if you were to just objectively look at them, they all kind of look the same. And so, the question becomes, well, this is the top side of the air filter. So we're concerned about 2 things primarily with the air filter on the motorcycle. We obviously want to stop large stuff from getting anything from getting past the air filter, getting into the engine. Anything that's particulate and abrasive can cause wear on the cylinder walls and piston rings. Now, the Honda Goldwing is infamous for people taking them apart, for various reasons that they have to rebuild the engine and work on the engine, and like say a damaged engine case. And when you see the cylinders in them, they can have 100,000 miles on them and they'll still have a beautiful crosshatch on them from the factory. It's an infamously bomb-proof, non-wearing engine. So taking that as a caveat, nobody's ever seen 2000, or even from 2001 or even the 1500s, but from the 2001 1800 to 2023, no, I've never heard of anybody boring one out, having to re-sleeve them or anything. They're just bomb-proof engines. So if you see a dirty air filter, congratulations, it did its job. I mean, that's what it's supposed to do. What you would be concerned about is what's gotten past it. So purely unscientifically here, we're going to cut the backside of one of these air filters open and spread the paper element out. I'm not going to do that on camera. I'll stop this and splice 2 videos together, but I'll get one cut apart. I'm going to pick the worst one, and we're going to spread it out and see if what's gotten through the air filter. Now, I'm almost 100% certain that even at 76,000 miles, nothing has gotten past the air filter. So your next concern is the air filter, as it becomes dirty, has less ability to pass air. It can flow less air. Now, gets clogged, let's say. I don't have any machinery here to suck and put a air draw test, a flow test on an air filter. But what I can say that is significant and is important is with the advent of fuel injection, the importance of having the air filter lose some portion of its airflow has been just completely erased. So in the days of carbureted motorcycles, if you had an air filter that was getting dirty and it passed less air, that inherently meant that the fuel-air ratio was changing constantly as the filter got more dirty or more blocked. In the case of a fuel-injected engine, it just compensates. So the engine always runs perfectly. The only difference is you might experience X amount of less air plus X amount of less fuel is X amount less power. It is not a lot. It is not enough that you'll notice it. I'm certain of it, even at 76,000 miles. You know, if you lost 1 or 2 miles per gallon, I'm sure there are some old Goldwingers that would probably just jump off a bridge if your fuel economy drops by 2 gallons. But that could just be the time of year, the temperature of the environment you're driving in. It could be anything. It's hard. In other words, my point is it's insignificant. So what we want to do is find what's a reasonable interval to change the air filter. So take a look at these one more time. One has 16,000, one has 76,000, one has just over 50,000. What's the difference? Hard to tell. So one or the other. So I'm going to pause this video, and then I'm going to cut one of these back, and I'll be back shortly. All right, I'm back. And actually, I was going to get this all the way cut out, but I thought if you ever wanted to fool with your own, you could kind of check out what I did. I just got a sharp box cutter, and I started just tracing kind of the outlet of the outline of the air filter, and I was able to pull it like a little accordion. When you're at the end, you'll have to cut down in to the end, and you'll have to slice across one of the pleats to get it to release. I didn't want to use any kind of die grinder or something and make a bunch of unnecessary add dust and mess to the whole operation. There we go. There you go. Look at that. Voila. Now, what are we going to learn? Start with a clean slate, as they say. Now, this is the top side. By the way, this is the air filter with 76,000 miles on it. We can put that's stuck down there. Yeah, that's fine. Does that weigh enough? That weighs enough. We need another heavy object. Wow. All right, let's try that. All right, so this is the top side. It's a curiosity. There's some, chunky stuff in here. I mean, this is very gritty, sandy. Definitely, you would not want any of that inside your engine. This was the air filter off of the Warhorse that did 6 Truex crossings of the United States. So this thing, we, for our own reasons, didn't want to change this air filter. There was a lot of electronics and things on the bike. We didn't want to risk upsetting anything by doing such an extensive disassembly while he was trying to keep moving constantly. So didn't want any setbacks. But this air filter saw every possible weather condition over and over and over. So it saw burning heat, freezing cold, dirt roads, gravel roads, highway, city, every single driving condition you could make on a Honda Goldwing. This motorcycle experienced it without stopping. So there is a lot of stuff on the top side. But when you spread it out, is it horrible? I mean, these pleats are still absolutely clean. The walls of them, air can pass through this absolutely easily. This is not blocked or restricted in any way. So, you know, when you see it accordioned up, you say, wow, that just looks awful, you know. But that's one fraction of the surface area where air is going to pass through this filter. I mean, when you look at the walls of these pleats, they're still practically as clean as the day they were. There's some stuff here and there, deposits, but that's not stopping air from passing through it in any way. But here is the $1 million question. New clean slate again. What has gotten through the air filter? $76,000 miles. Not one speck of dirt is on the backside of this filter. Nothing. No oil residue, no mess, no dirt, no dust, nothing. You know, this is purely unscientific, but if it were me, I wouldn't be changing my air filter in less than 50,000 miles. If that's just me, I wouldn't even bother the thing. I think it's just unnecessary and, you know, again, invasive to the motorcycle because they've made it so difficult to change. You know, I just wouldn't do it. I certainly wouldn't do it at 16,000 miles. I can promise you that. So, and especially after having seen this air filter, I'm sure no one has driven their Goldwing 76,000 miles without changing the air filter. This is the worst case, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with this air filter. You know, so that's my little unscientific test. You can pick your own interval, but if it were me, I would do it when it made sense. If I was doing some other significant maintenance, I was doing some other, you know, I had time over a winter and I had a lot of mileage on the bike. We do this here for people at Traxxion Dynamics. If you come in and you've got 30,000 miles on your bike and we're doing your shocks, we'll, you know, ask us, and for an extra fee, we'll change the air filter. But to just take the bike all the way apart and change the air filter, I personally would never do that. So hopefully this gives you some insight, and purely non-scientific. I don't have a way to suck air through that and tell you what your percentage of airflow has been lost by the slight amount of dust and stuff. But remember, it might look bad here. When you spread it out, it's just not bad. And nothing's made it through one. So anyway, my name's Max. Hopefully this gives you something to chat about and have a conversation about. Please give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget, hopefully you're subscribed to my channel. It helps support the channel if you just click the subscribe button. And thanks for watching. We'll be back with more great content soon.